It's the beginning of December, which means it's time to set up my 2026 reading spreadsheet. I haven't made a video on my reading spreadsheet in a little while, but I do have a whole playlist dedicated to it. I have been building up this behemoth of a reading spreadsheet for years now. I'm constantly adding to it and making it better. I open up this spreadsheet every single day, usually multiple times a day. It is how I keep track of literally everything bookish. So today we are going to be taking my current 2025 reading spreadsheet and creating my new 2026 sheet in my spreadsheet. I'm going to be adding all the adjustments and improvements that I've been writing down for a few months now about what I want to see in the new year, but I will also be creating an entirely new template for you to use. The one I'm creating today is going to be called the 2026 reading spreadsheet, and it is already up on my Etsy if you would like to find a way to support me. Something that I put hundreds of hours into and I genuinely use every single day. But I also have my 2025 version up on Etsy, and I have a free 2024 version. So you do not have to get the new and improved version today. I have 3 versions for you, from free to $5 to a whole $6. So enough yapping, let's get to the computer. All right, welcome back to my reading spreadsheet. It's been a little while since we've been in here together. This is my 2025 sheet, but as you can see, it is one of many that I have in this whole spreadsheet. But this is the one we're going to be focusing on for today's video. As a very fast little tour, I have the number of books, the title, the author, what I've rated it. Here I can go all the way from 5 stars all the way down to 1 star, using every quarter rating, how I've read it, whether it's a reread, whether it's dual point of view, the genres, the type of supernatural is in here, the type of romance that's in here, the spice scale. I have this normally as tropes, but it's basically, it includes some tropes, but it's also very short synopses, so I remember what happened in that book, whether the book made me cry, if it is queer or not, if it's a BIPOC author, the exact page count, and then the rounded page count, the imprint that it is from, and the overall publisher that it is from. And that goes all the way down. I have 150 spaces in here for 150 books. Now scrolling back up to the top, here's where all my data is. These are, I put in manually, so I have a number of books, number of pages in those books that I read that month, the number of books for fan fiction, number of pages fan fiction, and then I add the two together to create the total number of pages, and that is what this graph is auto-populating. So I had a heck of a reading month in June and had my second biggest reading month just now in November. Right here is how many books per rating I have in this spreadsheet. There are formulas in here, so it is actually counting every time that I put it in here. Same thing over here, that's the rating graph. Same thing of how I read it, which is there. And then some extra graphs, whether this is auto-populating from physical, is on owned or borrowed or library. This graph is here. You can see I mostly read audiobooks, and then I have first read and rereads. Here I have all of the genres that I have read. As you can see, I'm a huge fantasy and romance girly. That is going to be altered in just a second. We have single point of view versus dual point of view, queer side characters, none, and then BIPOC and white authors. Clearly I need to do better. It's a good reminder for me. And then I have the number of pages. A lot of my books are in the 300 page range. At the end of the year, I will add in formulas to count out. I wanted to see how many books I read from the big 5 publishers, and then other traditional, and then indie. So I wanted to track how many that is, but I will be adding that a little bit later once I have everything inside here. And that is what a yearly spreadsheet looks like. You can also see it looks a little bit different to the previous year. Here's my 2024. Clearly my colors are a little bit different. I put in the star ratings manually. Everything looks a little bit different. I had some different things in here. You know, as you can see, I very clearly have upgraded since then. So that's 2024, and here's what 2023 looks like. Yeah, even more different than before. It's just very fun to see how I get better each and every year. We are now going to create my 2026 sheet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate 2025 right here. We're going to drag it to the left a little bit, and I'm going to rename it 2026. And now what I'm going to do, I'll speed it up for you. I'm going to go back through and block all of this out so that everything is restarting. And I'm going to, I initially have 12 books per month to spread it out. So I'm gonna go back through, reset everything, and make sure everything's even. Alright, we are back to a fresh sheet right here. So now we're going to be making our changes for the new year. So one of the things I am personally changing is I am distinguishing now between fantasy and romantasy, which means that I have a new, whole new way in categorizing my books, which is going to be another day, another thing. But here are the current genres that I have, and I am now going to be changing them into these. So there's very, very little changes. I have added romantasy, and so it is now taking this teal color. So fiction is no longer this teal color. So this fiction is now this color, because I am combining memoir and biography with nonfiction. So only a little bit of changes here, but there are some things I do need to update in the new spreadsheet. So I'm going to come over down this way, and we are going to put that right there for now. So clearly all of these are totally fine. You can go back to normal. All of these are the same in normal, and you are the same in normal. So the only two that I have to change are going to be these two, which means I need to come over this way. I'm going to copy romantasy. When we come over to genre, we are going to go down, edit, and where fiction comes up, I am now going to type in romantasy, and up here we are now going to type in fiction. Apply. Oh, my head's in the way. There we go. So now when we click a new one, we should have fiction up top and romantasy down there. Perfect. Alright, and now we need to change it over here. So this fiction is going to go right there, and this needs to change. So now we are no longer saying memoir biography, we are now saying fiction. Okay, but this is a problem because here it also says fiction, so now we need to change it to romantasy. Alright, and if I did this well enough, they should now auto-populate. So we're going to check it. Going to go over here to genre, we're going to click one fiction and one romantasy, and we should have one romantasy and one fiction. Spectacular. Alrighty, let me reset these two genres real quick. And now we're going to add the only other change I'm going to make. We're going to insert cells. My top 3 genres are fantasy, romantasy, and romance. So I would love to see, and then other. We're going to do the sum of the 50, the 51. So now we're going to see how I stack up against all the other books versus my 3 top genres. We are also going to create a little graph. There we go. It does not look very impressive right now, but it will. Once I start filling these in, it will auto-populate. Spectacular. Alright, those were the 2 changes I wanted to make to the new year. I'm really happy with how I've been using my reading spreadsheet overall. Some of the other changes that I've made recently that will be in the 2026 reading spreadsheet and not in the 2025. I believe the books on Radar is new. The 4 and 5 stars page is the same old, same with fan fictions. Fan fiction is same old. Read the World is on my it does this a lot, it's okay, is in the 2025 with all of those, that's in there. The tropes is in the 2025 along with content. Books owned is going to be the same as it always has been, but my next step will be going through and recategorizing all of my fantasy books. Books owned audio and books owned no audio, they are to see which books on my shelves I can read through audiobooks and which ones I can't and I want to prioritize before I put everything into storage. Recs is a new spreadsheet that I made relatively recently. Title, the author, the genre, the notes from it, who, like what it's about, who recommended it, and if I know it, it is going to be a link to their YouTube video or wherever else I got it. Movies owned, I don't think it is in any of the previous renditions. This is something new for me. I wanted to track all of my DVDs that I own because I am a physical media person. Series tracker is relatively the same with the exception of I now added an active column because technically I'm currently reading 60 series, but when I look at all of these, for example, I'm not actually actively reading all of Rick Riordan's books, right? I'm actively reading none of them. So I am, I started the first book in this series, and so that isn't active. So I'm technically actively reading 27 series, and that makes it feel a little bit better on my end. Author tracker is the same as it always has been. Imaginarium and Once Upon a Con are how I tracked authors, so those won't be in yours. This is a very old template that I really should just get rid of at this point. Here is the challenge template, but otherwise I am ready for the new year in my reading spreadsheet. Genres have been updated. Over on the side has been updated. Usually I go through and I add tweaks to this page throughout the year. Those were the two that were kind of bigger and needed to wait until I made a new sheet. So if you would like to learn how to use the spreadsheet, how to edit things, how to make it your own, I do have an entire tutorial just on how to use the spreadsheet that is online, and it should be applicable to everything that is in here. And then once again, if you would like to support me, if you would like to have the spreadsheet for your own, I do have my 2024 spreadsheets completely available. It's going to look like this. It is a little bit older, but that's a-okay. It's not going to have a ton of the series tracker and the author tracker and some things like that, but that is completely free. That is in the description down below. If you would like the 2025 template, that includes most of these sheets, but not the updated anything that I did in this video or anything that I made recently, that is on my Etsy for $5. And my new 2026 spreadsheet will include the books on radar, it will include the rec sheet, it will include all the updates that I've been doing throughout the last year. That is going to be on my Etsy. It should be up right now for $6. Let me know if you missed the spreadsheet videos. I do miss having you in here with me as I make new sheets, as I add some updates. I've really been very okay with how the spreadsheet has been working on. If you miss me doing at my monthly closeouts, which I still do every month, I used to film that every month and I haven't in a while. If you miss that, please let me know. I will get back to doing those. And if you have any improvements that you think I can make, do not hesitate to write them down below. I love making the spreadsheet better every single day, every single year. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.